Hello, everyone. Charles Coleman here, presenting to you Disagreements with Dave. Sorry, no sound effect. I was thinking about doing something like that, but wasn't worth it. The Dave we're referring to, of course, is Dave Hurwitz, the renowned music critic who has a wonderful YouTube channel here entitled The Ultimate Classical Music Guide. It's something I look at every time I get up. He does about 3 videos a day. At this point, here we are in July of 2024. I think he's done well over 4,000 videos, which is extraordinary, and they're all entertaining and worth checking out. Dave Hurwitz has brought the classical music world to an even bigger audience, I dare say, via his YouTube channel. Whether you agree with him or not, I happen to agree with him most of the time, especially since I'm wearing shirts like this. This is from his classicstoday.com, for which I am an avid reader of. I agree with most of the reviews, as I agree with the reviews he makes on his YouTube channel most of the time. I would say about 90% of which I agree with, but there's a 10% that I disagree with, and he and I have had cordial conversations via the comments section on his on various videos, and they've been cordial and respectful, and that's all we really need. Dave actually recently did a video entitled "How Not to Trash a Critic," showing a funny commentary from an obsessed fan of Christian Thieleman's Bruckner Symphony cycle, and let's just say his disagreement with Dave was a little over the top. I think he used the phrase disgusting. Okay. But anyway, shows how much time you have in your life, buddy. Now, my disagreements with Dave are a little more subtle, and I thought I'd make a series of videos, not too many videos, of my disagreements with Dave Hurwitz, because there isn't that much I disagree with him on. I myself am not nearly the music critic that Dave Hurwitz is, although I have done my share of reviews on certain publications, but not at Dave's level. But I have this YouTube channel, I'm very proud of it, and I have stuff to say, and you may take that for the grain of salt that it is worth. Let me know in the comments. One of my disagreements with Dave is with regard to the Vaughan Williams Symphony cycle of Bryden, Thomson, and the London Symphony Orchestra. He feels that this symphony cycle is not the best. I don't know if it's the best, but I think it's better than he thinks it is, and I will give those opinions in detail anon. Bryden Thomson was a world-renowned conductor from Scotland who was one of the first artists associated with the Chandos record label, along with other guys like Nemi Järvi and Jean-Pascal Totillier, Alexander Gibson, and a whole host of others. And he did, in my opinion, a very affecting cycle of the Vaughan Williams symphonies. And Dave Hurwitz, I believe, generally likes it, but there are some of the recordings I disagree with him on in terms of what he doesn't like, starting with the Sea Symphony by Vaughan Williams, aka number 1. I love this recording that Bryden Thomson did. For whatever reason, Dave Hurwitz, in his video about this symphony and its recordings, he didn't even mention this one. I think he kind of mentioned that this recording in the 4th movement goes on a little bit longer than it should be, and that's why he didn't even give it a review in the first place. He dismissed it because of that issue. I don't agree. I think maybe if it's on the slower side, that's irrelevant because sounds glorious. The chorus, the London Symphony Orchestra and chorus are glorious, especially in the middle, near the end of the 4th movement, where you hear them go, "Sail forth, ba da 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 da." One of the best performances of that section than any other, among many other moments in this recording. I don't know if this is better than the Adrian Bolt, which I think is arguably the best, but this is a close second, if it's a second at all. I dare say I want to put these neck and neck with each other. I adore this recording. I love how the The solo singers are in the forefront sonically. Brian Rare Cook is very good, the baritone soloist, but Yvonne Kenny, the soprano soloist, is glorious. Probably the best soloist in any recording of this symphony. I highly recommend this. Dave, I dare you. Okay, I don't dare you. I would like to see you show your particular take of this recording because you hadn't done it before. I think you've dismissed it, but I'd like to see you review this again. Please let me know what you think. I would love to hear what you think of it. Next up, London Symphony, number 2 by Vaughan Williams. This recording of Bryden Thomson's is a very good one. I don't know if it's the best. My personal favorite is Adrian Bolt's with the London Philharmonic, but this is a very good one too. Little slower in spots. I think the third movement, the scherzo, is metronomically a little slower. You know, do 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 ba 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 ba. It drags a little bit, but it's such a minute issue. It is an overall very good recording and worth listening to as far as I'm concerned. Sonics are great again. I like this better than Leonard Slatkin's, but this is one of the good ones as far as I'm concerned. And now we get to the Pastoral Symphony, courtesy of Bryden Thomson, number 3. This is my favorite recording of the Pastoral Symphony. It might be a little slower than other versions. I don't care. The sonorities that come out, there's a beautiful trumpet solo in the second movement, and when it goes to its climactic high B flat, you hear the orchestra da 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 ya da da. Oh, this was written during which this is basically a reflection on World War I, the desolate atmosphere, and then we get to the fourth movement, which is to me one of the greatest movements ever that Vaughan Williams ever wrote, and this rendition of that fourth movement, my God, the cello section in the middle, da 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 da, you know. Da da do do do. It is the bottom line is that this is the best recording of that symphony as far as I am concerned. Let me know what you think. Next up, Vaughan Williams Symphony number 4. Dave Hurwitz loves this one, as I do, of course. I don't know if it's the best. I might have to give a little edge to Leonard Slatkin, but I think this is up there neck and neck with it. Beautiful recording, toughest symphony that Vaughan Williams ever wrote, although the ending of the first movement is absolutely sublime. Amazing how it comes out of that storm of the first 2/3 of that first movement, and it sounds really wonderful here. This is a wonderful recording, one of the best. Another one that I consider one of the best, Bryden Thomson's rendition of Vaughan Williams Symphony number 5. Arguably my favorite recording. There are a few others that are great. I love this rendition of it. Sonically, again, glorious sonics. It is one of lots to say with it. This is not my favorite Vaughan Williams symphony because I think generally it is slow music. Maybe for about 4/5 of the way. I think Aaron Copland supposedly said that listening to this symphony is like watching a cow for 45 minutes. I don't think it's that bad at all, and supposedly that may be a misquote. There might be an apocryphal quote with regard to Aaron Copland. We don't know if it's true. This is not my favorite symphony, but this is definitely one of the better recordings of it. That's how I feel. Now we get to the later symphonies of Vaughan Williams, and I have to say Bryden Thomson is comparatively weaker here. Symphony number 6. Not a bad recording. Whoops, careful. Not a bad recording, but a little on the slow side, partly because of the large space. I think they did this in a church, and the way it was mic'd. There's a lot of minute detail that you don't hear because of the overall resonance. The first movement is really quick and really, really fierce, similar to Symphony number 4. It's supposed to be like that. This is a little too slow, probably upon the sonic reflection of that, because you can hardly hear it, they slowed it down. Maybe, I'm not sure. But this is not one of Bryden Thomson's best recordings. Certainly, you compare this to Leonard Slacken recording with the Philharmonia, probably the best recording of that ever. It's faster and a lot more precise. This isn't as precise. Although in the latter part of the first movement, do 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 do, glorious playing there, and I think the last movement is also the ominous peacefulness of that fourth movement after the storm of the first three movements. That is a very good rendition, I think, of this symphony overall. That last one was very beautiful here, I think. Now we get to Sinfonia Antarctica, one of my favorite symphonies of Vaughan Williams. This is not the best recording. In fact, there are a few mistakes here and there. I think the second movement is a little slower than it should be. Not as slow as Bernard Heintich's, which I agree with Dave is, you know, a little lukewarm. Haha, a little pun, since this is about Antarctica. This recording is generally good, but I think not as good as Slacken's. Again, I think Slacken wins on this one, the sonics and the preciseness of that recording. This one has a few minute mistakes in here that might be audible depending on what you're listening for. This is a generally good recording. It has its amazing spots here and there. Nice molto crescendos here and there on the timpani. I think the last movement is effective. Well, the point is I generally like this recording, but it's not the best. Now we get to the latter two symphonies, which I think I consider the weakest symphonies of the whole oeuvre of the cycle that Vaughan Williams wrote. Symphony number 8, overall good recording. I dare say that Adrian Bolt's might be a little bit better. I think which movement? I would say, yeah, the third movement where it's all strings, I believe. Yeah, all strings. That's beautiful, and it's a very glorious finale. Not probably my least favorite symphony overall. This is by no means a bad piece, but it's the least of the symphonies, and this recording is generally very good, but not as good as others. And then we get to the last of the symphonies, number 9, the irony of dealing with the fact that certain famous composers wrote their 9th symphony and then died. Vaughan Williams was at an advanced age when he wrote this. This is not one of the best symphonies he wrote, but it has some great moments here. In this recording by Bryden Thomson, for some reason, he tones down the percussion, especially in the second movement. There are these gong hits with a bell. For some reason, those are sonically less than stellar. I don't know whether that was intentional or just the sonics. I would say that the best recording of this piece would be the Leonard Slacken recording. This does, however, have a glorious final movement, which has a wonderful gravitas that ends this cycle, let alone the cycle of all the pieces that Vaughan Williams wrote. This was the last thing that Vaughan Williams ever wrote. I think he just died a few months after the premiere of this symphony, and this is a generally great piece overall, just one of the lesser good ones of the whole cycle. And this recording is a good recording, but it's not Leonard Slacken. So when I say that this is my disagreement with Dave, I like this cycle more than he does. Probably at this level, especially with regard to the first 3 symphonies, which he feels are less than stellar. I think they're all stellar, especially 1 and 3. So that's my thought. Dave, keep it up. You're a wonderful representative of the classical world, bringing it to a higher status, being more noticeable by a general public than ever done before, and I really appreciate that. That's what I've got for now. Until the next video.